Hey, phony homies, it's week 14, and boy, do we have a great show for you guys today. On today's episode, we discuss this past week's injuries, who to add off waiver wire, and so much more. It's almost time for the playoffs. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Fake Football Guy Show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Campos, and alongside me is the greatest co-host of all time, Dustin DL Lingerman. What's up, DL? What's going on, man?
What's up, man? There you
Oh
go. I
man, you
switched it back.
look like a suburban dad with that laser you got
You know
on.
what? That's why I don't tell you anything before our show starts.
You
All
want to tell
right,
them the
so
story
now
real
now
quick?
I gotta tell the
Yeah.
story. All right, guys. So I was at my work today, and I work at Illinois Media School. So if you
Right.
want to learn how to do all this stuff, check us out. Anywho, had a student come up to me, and they're like, "Hey, man, you know that sweater you got on?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I like it. It's like Mister Rogers, sophisticated. It's a good fit." He's like, "Yeah, you totally just scream suburban dad." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you, sir. I am a suburban dad, so all right." I think it's nice. You know how long I've had this? I've actually had this over 10 years, and I can still fit into it. So
Oh yeah.
suck my kabasa.
Hey, there you go. Kielbasa. Love the
Kabasa.
support. Love the support for our Polish friends. All right, DL.
Exactly.
We have a huge show
Dude,
today. We are 1 week away from the fantasy playoffs for most leagues, not every league, for most leagues. And we
bro.
have a jam-packed show, man. Yeah.
And before we let everyone know where to find us, it's the Bi Apocalypse.
The Bipocalypse is here. It is
So get ready.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Do we want to remind the people at home who is on bye? I got you,
Or
DL. Yeah. Go ahead.
see, I was just gonna say, or you could have just said, or let them know where they can find us, and then look it up as I'm like going through it. You can
Yeah,
find us
no,
on
no, I got
Twitter or
you. You
X at
son of a.
tweet FFG.
Yeah, I got you.
Be
Let's
sure
go
to
through
use
the
that
particulars.
hashtag AskUsFFG. You can also email us at askusffg@gmail.com. Or if you're feeling frisky, give JC a call at 708-655-4508 and let him know why you got bounced out of the playoffs. And of course, email us at, I already said that one. But you can find over podcasts and our YouTube, wherever you consume it. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Just be sure to
We're getting
like,
messages.
subscribe, and smash that
And notification button.
notification. Okay,
Right.
go ahead, JC. See, that's what you're supposed to do. So I talk and you look instead of like, you got it, oh, I got you, and it's like awkward. Just saying.
It's not
Be
awkward. It's part of the
professional.
banter. It's
Be
part of the
professional, bro.
banter. But
God, my back's
anyway,
getting tired.
DL Jam Pack Show. Let's go ahead and get started with studs and duds. DL,
Wait,
who
who's
was
on
your
bye?
stud?
No. Who's on bye?
Now, you're in
You didn't
rare mode
even
right
look it
now.
up?
You're
You
frisky.
didn't
No,
look
it's
it up.
Baltimore Ravens, the Denver Broncos, the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the New England Patriots, and the Washington Commanders. There are 6 teams on bye. Lots of good fantasy players on these teams.
Yes. And I'm so excited because I'm playing in my home league, the number one guy. And guess who he has? He has Jaden Daniels.
Oh, lucky duck.
He has King Henry. He has like pretty much half his team is gone. He tried to like replace it real quick. And he's still projected to lose. And this is the kid that came up to me and was like, "Oh, auto draft. Oh, you guys suck. Who sucks now, bitch?" Anyways, studs
How's he
and
doing?
duds. Who'd
With
you got?
Yep, he's doing well. Andrew Bueller. Did he lose this past week? I hope he did.
No, he won.
Son of a bitch. He's Deshaun's chocolate starfishes. He beat me. He whooped my ass. Is what happened.
Yeah. He's been
Bastard.
whooping lots of asses.
Bastard. I needed this
Except
win
for
in a bad
mine,
way.
not this week.
Dude, I needed
No
that
one,
win in a bad
no one's
way.
bitch. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I still got a chance though. There's 2 teams, 1 game ahead of me. So if I win
Well,
1
hold
game, one
on.
of these guys loses.
Well, let's take a look. Whoa. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him into our world, bro. Let's
Yeah,
just,
let's bring him in.
you know. This is the time where you kind of like talk a little bit, so you give me a
Yeah,
little
I
bit of
also have
time
the
to.
second most points in the entire league. The number one team with the most points has 1907. That's Andrew with
Oh,
the
cool.
first place team, and I'm 5-8
Yeah,
with 1860,
you're
the
five in
second most
that.
points.
And what's your position? What? Where are
Sucks.
you? Oh, hold on,
I'm in
I got
seventh
it. Don't
place
worry.
currently. I'm
It's
just
really
saying, there's
great
been a
that you
little bit
have
of
all
bad
those
luck.
points. You have all those
Yeah,
points,
sometimes
and it
takes a
doesn't
little bit of
mean
good luck.
jack shit.
Yeah.
All right, so you're all the way down in seventh.
hmm
So you're right outside the playoffs. So you really need to win.
I
This is your
am.
last week. Otherwise, you're out, my guy. You are
Hey
out,
man, this
bro.
is my last chance to make something
Mm,
happen here.
1860. Okay, I guess yeah, you are beating my ass, but you're not beating Andrew's ass. So that's all that
Yeah,
matters,
there's a chance here that I could still jump
dude.
in. So whatever.
Wait. Who are you
That's not
playing?
why
Who are you playing this week?
go to week 14 now.
Come on. Okay. I mean, I'm sure these people are tuning in to see who we're playing against. Ooh,
Yeah, some of
mustache.
them do tune in. Yeah, that's right. It's
Ooh.
gonna be a problem here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and
Anyways,
then I would like the highest of fives has a chance to jump in there too if he wins. If he beats One Tree Hill, he's got a chance too. One Tyreek Hill, sorry.
you know what sucks is that like
Mhm.
oh they're brothers by the way. P to the S. That's
Oh, they
Andrew
play
and
against each other?
Ben. Yeah, for the
Uh,
playoffs, bro. You know what sucks? That's the guy
uh,
that's only like really traded with me all year long, and I gave him Bucky Irving and JSN. So
well,
you're welcome,
speaking of
Andrew.
Bucky
Fuck
Irvin,
you,
speaking
bro.
of him, let's get to our studs and duds. DL,
Okay.
who were your studs and duds this past week?
Well, this week was a rough one for your guy. I won one of my leagues, just one. It was actually against your family
Really?
league, so I don't really
Oh,
count that.
fuck.
Um,
It
let's see my
counts. Fuck you.
studs. My studs. My only stud that I will name because everyone else just shit the bed. I will say was Bucky Irving with 142 yards, one TD, and 33 yards receiving. Um, my duds were George Kittle, which I was hoping, but he played against the snow, so I don't hold him against it too bad because it
Mhm.
was kind of crazy game. And Kareem Hunt, I will be dropping his ass this week because I rolled the dice one too many times and it bit me in the
Mhm.
ass. I do have a question. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on starting two tight ends? Because I got John Smith and I got Kettle, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking because Hunt's gone, I may
Mhm.
start both tight ends. But I don't know
Yo,
because Smith's going up against the Jets this week.
it's a
What do you
great
think?
question and one that I would like to answer for you, but I
Oh,
have some waiver wire options for you this week that
okay.
I think I'd rather start than two
So you
tight
want to
ends.
wait?
So
You don't want to
yeah,
answer it.
we'll get to that.
But
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
hold on.
That's called a
But
tease, ladies and gentlemen. That's called a tease.
I like that. I like the tease. But have you ever? I'm against starting two tight ends. I don't know why. I think this has bit me in the ass too many times. I just feel weird doing it. Like, would you
You
do
started
it?
them both
Like,
last week? Yeah, I would in
should
certain
have started
scenarios.
both of them last week. Definitely
See, but
should
you don't
have.
know. You never know what's gonna happen. When's it gonna happen?
I
It's
just like.
tough, man. It's really
Okay.
tough.
Anyways,
You
how
know.
was your week? How'd you do
My week
besides
was
lose
good.
in our
Yeah, my
league?
week's good. So for starters, I do want to let you guys know that my stud this past week was Rico Dowdle. I've had an up and down relationship with Rico Dowdle this year. The guy's
Like
been
your
good
mom,
when he's been good, and he's been bad when he's been bad. He finished this past week with 112 rushing yards and a touchdown. So he was solid, and he was about the only thing solid going on in the Cowboys
right? It
game.
was a
Yeah,
rough
but
week, right? Am I the only one who
yeah, it
had a
was
rough
rough.
week?
No, I
The
had a rough
Bears
week.
didn't, but
Bears what?
Bears. I mean, fantasy wise, the Bears didn't.
Oh, yeah, they suck though. I don't even want to talk about the Bears.
Okay.
I also had another huge performance from Kyron Williams this past week. The guy's been in
Ooh,
the top five all
ooh.
damn year. He had 104 rushing yards and a touchdown. Yeah, I want to talk about my duds. Speaking of the Cowboys, CD Lamb was my dud this past week. He was
Right,
fighting through some kind of a shoulder issue or something. I'm not sure. Something was up with him. I
bro.
couldn't hear the sound because we were watching during Thanksgiving. It was one of the most watched football
Oh
games of the
yeah, how
last
was your Thanksgiving? Happy
decade. Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
I couldn't hear anything. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Yeah.
But he finished with 2 receptions for a total of
Mm.
39 yards. Not a good game. And lastly, Cooper Cup, another dud for me this past week. If any of these guys did anything, I probably would have won a bunch of games, a bunch of matchups. Cooper Cup finished with 17 total receiving yards. Yeah, they didn't
So my
deliver.
question to you, here
Mhm.
we are. We're right on the ball.
Here we
We're
are.
literally, for most of us, this is our last week in the regular season of fantasy football, right? So
Mhm.
there is no more like waiting or anything like that, because it's like do or die. Is there anyone that you're dropping that your people would be like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, you're dropping that guy"?
Oh, right now, like this week, like big
Yeah,
names.
like you're just like, "Okay, I need a bench spot. I
Yeah,
got to get rid
yeah,
of CD
yeah.
Lamb."
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know? Yeah, there's
Okay.
a few other guys. Trevor Lawrence. I'll probably drop him without even thinking about it. Um,
So everyone
uh,
who got injured. I'm talking like Tank Dell.
no.
I am.
I
He's
think I
garbage.
gotta see
He's
how that.
trash. He's
I gotta see how
trash,
that
bro.
shakes out.
Nope, not gonna happen. See, this is what I'm talking about. Don't fall in love with your guys.
I'm not
He's
in love with
trash.
anybody. It's not
He's
that.
been god awful this
It's
whole
well.
year.
Here's the thing. Well, let me tell you.
CJ Stroud has
He's
not stepped
younger.
up. Has not stepped up this year. Like he's taken
CJ
a
Stroud,
step
different team.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
versus his rookie numbers, taking a step
Oh yeah,
back.
you want to drop CJ Stroud? Yeah, that's fine. I'm
No,
not
no, no.
mad
I'm
if you
not
take
saying
Stroud.
drop CJ Stroud. I'm saying drop Tank Dell, dude. Like you got Nico
Oh, what's
Collins.
CJ Stroud have to do with Tank Dell? Talk about
He
Travis Etienne, the other running back with Tank Dell.
no.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Tank Bigsby. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, wow, am I?
Yeah.
No, I'm right. I'm fucking
Yeah,
right.
you
No,
could. You are
Houston
right.
Texans, bro.
Tank Dell, you could drop. I'm thinking about Tank Bigsby with the
Oh,
Jaguars.
okay.
Now that
There you go. Whew. I was
Trevor
like,
Lawrence is out, what's
yeah,
going to
dude, I
happen?
might
No, you're right. You're
have to
right.
find a new
Lots of
fantasy
tanks.
football guy because you're not
Lots of tanks going on right now. Um,
we're taking
that's a
applications.
good one. I probably would drop Dell and wouldn't really think about it too much. Feel too bad. There's a bunch of wide receivers on the waiver wire that I'd be interested in getting over him.
What
We'll name
about
some of them in this show.
Debo Samuels?
No, no, I'm not dropping Debo.
Okay. Because I saw that. I just saw some of these guys on Twitter and they're just like, oh, should I drop him? And I like
Mhm.
Tank Dell was like, yes, but Debo, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hang on to him.
What
Okay,
about Tank
cool.
Bigsby?
Just
What are you doing with Tank Bigsby?
I like actually, it's a good point because we've been talking about this. I think here's a huge week that you need to grab some insurance running backs, right? Insurance. Just because like we're already seeing a couple guys get a little bit banged up, which we'll get into the injury report not too long. But one thing to think about this week with waivers, not only think about your own team, but if you got the room, grab some of these like good guys so your opponent doesn't get them or somebody in first place doesn't grab them,
Hmm.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, try to block guys if you can. I've
Oh
been in
yeah,
leagues where
absolutely. Grab your
I'll pick
fat.
up 4 quarterbacks just so that the guy who has it, like this week specifically, I have in a matchup, the guy I'm playing against has both quarterbacks on bye. He has
This
Bo
is the week to
Nix
do it.
and Lamar Jackson, and on the waiver wire, there's only like 2 quarterbacks available. So I might just pick up both quarterbacks, bid a high amount because I'm in fab leagues where I bid fake money, and might
Yeah.
just try to block them. To try to
Not
win my
only
league
that,
because I need it. I need
well,
it, bro. Bad.
keep in mind when the playoffs start, just like in real football, like it's a whole new season. So everything else that you were going through or have you're starting over. This is
Mhm.
your team. So figure out where the holes are and plug and play and try to get like,
Yes, sir.
some of those guys that are on those waivers. I wouldn't be too concerned about deep sleepers or like, oh, in 3 weeks they'll be great. Now is not that time. Okay.
Just win
So
now.
we're
Just win, baby. Just win. That's it.
just when let's hop over to the news. A couple of things. The Bears fired Matt Eberflus. Let's
It fucking
go.
finally,
Let's
bro. It finally happened.
go.
Honestly, can't believe it. I can't believe it, but I can't believe it. And
First time in
and let's talk
history.
about it.
First
Yep.
time in history the Bears have ever done this during their season.
Yeah, they've
Number
never
one.
fired one. I get why they
No,
didn't want to fire him, but like it shows just how like soft the Bears are. They didn't want to fire him on Thanksgiving. I get it, but they didn't
bro.
want to. They botched that whole thing. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, they
They let
totally
him.
did.
They let him go out and have a press conference. He talked to the
Mm-hmm.
media, thinking he had a gig. He was talking about how he was on to San Francisco. The Bears played San Francisco. He's like, I'm on to San Francisco.
We're
I'm
on it.
just that's what I'm focusing on. We're on to Cincinnati. Yeah, exactly. Good old Bill Belichick.
Ooh,
Speaking of
real
Bill,
quick. Brandon Combs, thanks for dropping in, dude. Appreciate it. He's a
that's
part of
crazy.
our old school media.
Sorry,
group.
Brandon. That's crazy.
But yeah, I agree. I would not drop Brees Hall, bro. Like, yeah, not yet. Not yet. Maybe grab his backup. Maybe his backup. And then, oh my God, Lord Goose. Lord Goose has come. Family League champion. We'll see,
He's
dude.
doing well.
We'll see, bro.
He's doing well in my family league. Yeah.
He is, dude. He's kicking the shit out of everyone.
I don't
I'm
know
just like,
how the guy doesn't watch a lick of sports. He just knows
bro,
about Tom
I went
Brady.
up against them. Obviously, we play each other twice. I was like, all right, I got
Yeah.
your ass this time. He just destroyed me.
Demolished. Yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
Like, it was like, I was like, what the fuck? You
Well,
know
he
what?
does. He tunes in, bro. He tunes in. What do you
He
want?
does.
Anyway, back
Okay,
to the
getting back.
Bears. So the guy, they let their head coach, their former head coach, go out, have a press conference, talk about the upcoming week, and then fired him like an hour later. Crazy, man.
Not only
And we
that, like
heard,
there's
uh-huh.
some other things coming out, like Jalen Johnson.
Yeah,
He
That's
went
exactly
off
it.
on Flus because Flus was like during halftime or after the game,
And
not during halftime. After the game, he was
that's
like doing his coach
mhm.
speak, and Jalen Johnson's like, "Listen, motherfucker, I'm tired. Like fucking, I'm sick of losing like this." Blah 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 blah. So there
Mhm.
was that. There's also
Hold
there's
on.
been like
So
okay,
so that was a huge deal.
it
There was a
was
mutiny. There was a
yeah,
mutiny, basically, is what they said.
lost
They
the
described
locker
it as a
room.
mutiny in the locker room. Yeah, and Flus walked out of the locker room, and Kevin Warren was present at the time, is what the report says. He was in the locker
Ooh,
room at the time.
don't want to walk out when the bosses are. A
Do
little
with that
awkward.
what you will. What they've been saying is they want to find a leader of men. What does that tell me? What does that say about Eberflus, that he's not a leader of men? They're basically calling him the P word, soft, a
The P
wussy.
word,
Let's
bro.
say a wussy. Sorry,
Okay,
I can't say it right now. You
not
know,
only that, no, but not only that, like you heard it from the rumblings before, right? You had Mercedes
crazy,
Lewis
bro.
get up there and be like, "We want to be coached. Can we be coached? Can you hold us accountable?" And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Shane Waldron." And it was like,
That's the head coach,
okay,
bro.
nope. He was talking about flus, right? And here's what irritates me the most. And here's like now the rumors are coming out, right? So you had the crap. The OC for Detroit Lions,
Oh yeah, Ben
Ben
Johnson.
Johnson. Ben Johnson last year was interested or supposedly interested becoming the head coach, was wanting to come on over. Nope, Bears are like, "No, we're we're going to wait." They could have
We're gonna run
got
it back.
oh my god, the OC for the Commanders. His name escaped.
Cliff
Cliff.
Kingsbury. Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury. They could have had him. You know why they passed on him? The rumor is because they were worried that if he did well, that he would
Mhm.
take over for Flus, right? Like, so they got all these names that were like, "Yeah, I'll come do it." And not only that, Cliff Kingsbury also had a really great relationship with, I don't know, your number one pick, and you decided like, "Nah, let's pass. Fuck that dude. Like, we're good. We'll get, Shane Waldron because he was awesome." No, what pisses me off is like they fucking knew Flu sucked and they didn't want to rock the boat and they didn't want to have
We all
anything
did.
happen. And they're just, and what also gets my goat is that like they knew in March, they fucking knew in March that they were gonna like draft Caleb Williams. Like they knew they're like, all right, that's our guy. We're gonna go for him. Why the fuck didn't you clean house then? Why didn't you just
Bro, my
like,
God.
hey, fuck it. We're gonna get a new coach. We're gonna pair him up with Caleb Williams because they did everything else. They loaded with the wide receivers. They got him fucking Keenan Allen. They got
He did.
DJ Moore. They got Roma Dunze. They're like, fuck yeah. We're gonna keep our tight end with Cole Kmet. We're gonna get this rocking and rolling. Why not just be like, all right, peace out. We're gonna re-rack it. We're gonna get you a coach that believes in you. Because now we're in that
Mhm.
carousel again,
We are.
right? Because actually I have the graphic, which I'll find in a little bit. But every time this happens, now we got to be worried about that. Now you got to think about that as a Bears fan is like, okay, whoever they're going to hire next as the coach, are they going to keep Caleb Williams? Are they going to be a fan of him? Right?
Yeah, they better be. How are you not a fan of the number one prospect, generational talent, a
I don't
top
know.
five
Same reason
prospect in the
why
last 20 years? Like
dude,
Bill Belichick, isn't it?
the same reason why we weren't a fan of Justin Fields, right?
I mean, I was a
right?
fan of his. They're not
No,
on the
no,
same plane.
no, no,
They're
no.
not even in the same
Matt
stratosphere
Nagy
of
liked him,
prospects.
but then they fucking fired him, right?
Well, Nagy was not good with. He was trying to put a square peg in a round hole, so he was
Mm.
not good with Trubisky. Look, let's end
No,
the
let's look at
topic on
this. Let's
this.
look at this real quick.
Okay.
Let's look at this. Drafted Trubisky, and then John Fox got fired, right? Right? Hired Matt Nagy, drafted Justin Fields. What happened? Fired Nagy, got rid of Justin Fields. Drafted Caleb Williams, right? What happened? They fired Matt Eberflus, right? So the cycle's continuing, man. Like I could go back way further. I just got that like in this
Let me
snippet.
ask you this question: do you think these two guys? Do you think Trubisky? Do you think Fields are remotely close in talent to
Hell
Caleb with
no.
what you've seen?
Nope. Nope.
Caleb already this year has been better than those guys have been their entire careers.
Yeah, he broke the rookie record for quarterbacks.
Hmm.
He's gone. He hasn't. He I forget what it was, but he hasn't thrown an
No picks.
interception basically. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so it's
it's
been
crazy.
awesome.
Do you have a guy you want, offensive coordinator you want, and we'll leave this topic there.
Oh,
I'll give you two guys. Any two guys?
I would
Any two
love
guys.
Ben Johnson.
Hmm.
I would fucking love him as. Wait, are we talking OC or are we talking head coach?
Head coach, because Ben
Ben
Johnson ain't
Johnson.
going nowhere unless he's a head coach. Yeah.
Ben Johnson for sure. I heard on the score today that like if the Bears were willing to give up a first round pick, Kyle Shanahan, I would be down
Ooh.
for that.
For
I would
one first,
totally. Probably two.
maybe. I don't know if I could do for two. Sorry.
I mean, but it's Kyle Shanahan. He has like that Andy Reid style, right? Remember when Andy Reid was in Philly, just couldn't like
Hmm.
get over that hump, and then went to Kansas City,
Hmm.
and like all of a sudden,
How
like
about
they're
a first and one of our seconds? We have 2 seconds next year,
sure, fuck it,
or they could take
dude.
both
If we got
seconds. Fuck
Kyle
it. I
fucking
don't give a fuck.
Shanahan, Kyle
Yeah, I'd be
Shanahan
hyped.
is like basically Bill Belichick, where he can grab any fucker off the street and is like, "All right, can you run the ball? Cool, come on in." And they're just like,
The only thing
"Okay."
is, Belichick cannot draft for a fucking
Oh, fuck
damn.
that. I
The
don't want
guy was
Belichick.
a
If anyone talks
god
about
awful Belichick.
Belichick,
Yeah, I don't
no,
really want Belichick. It sucks to say that. He's like the
no.
greatest coach of all time in the
Yeah,
NFL.
but
Like
he
people want him.
wants
It's
too
crazy to
much,
say it,
bro.
but
Mm-mm.
yeah. And
Not a good
and
fit.
he didn't like Caleb. Some comments have come out about what he said about Caleb.
Exactly.
So like I'm not no
Mm-mm.
thank you.
Nope.
All right, that's enough Bears talk from us.
Who
DL.
were you gonna
Anything else
say?
you got? Oh, my two guys?
Yeah, I didn't forget.
I would love Shanahan. I'm just go off the beaten path because you've already named the two guys I probably want, to be
Oh,
honest. So
sorry.
let's say I don't want those. Let's say just to give you different guys. Let's see what Thomas does, what the interim head coach does. I'll be interested. I mean, an opportunity like this doesn't ever come around. It's very, very rare for a guy to step up, for a guy to be passing game coordinator to then the OC, and then 3 weeks later be the interim head coach is a crazy,
Dude, it's
crazy like
nuts.
rise.
It's
Dude,
fucking
life comes at
nuts.
you fast, right? It's
I
crazy.
love him though. I just
I like how he
like
talks. I
I
like hearing
love
him.
the way he talks. I'm just
I
like,
like
fuck
his.
yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Like
he's got
I'll
an
run
aura
through a
for
fucking
sure,
wall
right?
for you. Like, let's
Got that
go.
aura.
All right, moving on. Texas offensive line or defensive linebacker Aziz El-Shar was
Of
suspended for 3
here.
games for his hit on Trevor Lawrence. Did you see that hit?
I did, bro. It's bad.
It
But
was a big
can we
debate
talk for a
though,
second?
bro.
I
Yeah,
could see
that's
that.
why we're
I got
here.
both sides. I got both
Okay.
sides. He was kind of sliding a little late, but that guy knew he was giving himself up. It was kind of like one of those unwritten rules, those unspoken things, where like you don't swing for the fences when you're up like
Fuck that
15 in
though.
baseball. Yeah, I get it. I get
No,
it.
the way I look at it is like this, dude. Like the rule is that he's a runner, right? He's a
He's a
running
runner.
back, right? And then yeah, you're absolutely right.
Not a running back, but he's a runner. Yeah,
He's a runner. Okay, fine. He's
yeah.
a runner.
Mhm.
You like that was a play you drew. That's a play like everybody knows around you that you are now all those like you can't hit his knees and all that. Like you
Mhm.
got to protect the quarterback is out the window because you decided to run, right? And from his like, what is he supposed to do? Like, oh, he's sliding. Okay, yeah, go ahead, get the first down. That's fine. Hell fucking no. The dude was
Yeah,
committed, and I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a violent sport, bro. Like,
it is violent.
you're trying to get the first down. He's trying to stop you from the first down. And yeah, he committed to the run. So yes, I don't wish anybody to get hurt. and I don't want anyone to get a concussion, and I don't want people to like try to take people out. But bro, what do you expect? You're trying to get the first down, and he's
Yeah,
trying to block it. He
agreed.
wants to do it. That's my take. So either A, stop making these quarterbacks run, or B,
Mhm.
slide early. Don't pull that bullshit then like, oh wait, sorry, I forgot. Like, no, it's not flag football, it's football, right?
It is
Okay.
football. It is football. I feel like he didn't have to go to the head, but it was kind of bang bang.
It
I
was
don't
bang
know.
bang, bro.
I could
Like,
see both sides.
imagine running
That's
at
all.
me full speed, bro. Full speed. I'm like, don't hit my head. Like,
Knock that block off you,
yeah,
bro. If
right?
I was tackling
Yeah,
you, oh my god.
there's no point of you. It's like, oh, oops, sorry. Let me slow down. My bad. All right. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
no.
that was basically the news. I mean, there's injury news. So I think the doc should be showing up pretty soon. In
Yeah, I think
fact, he's
a knock on
here.
the door. Yeah, I love it.
Higher than that. Yeah, I heard it. Okay, awkward.
Well, that's that's the doc knocking at the door. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's here. It's time to get to injuries. And now it's time to discuss some of the big injuries that happened in the fantasy landscape. Doc is here and he's ready to give you the skinny. Doc, what do you got going on?
Whole lot of injuries. That's for sure, JC.
Oh,
Let me
I'll
bring you
let
back.
you handle it from here.
Oh
No,
no, it's
handle it from
all
here.
on, huh? All on?
Yeah.
All
Yep.
on. You got a tinkle. Okay, so we're gonna start things off with those Baltimore Ravens. Rashad Bateman, who's a wide receiver, is questionable. John Harbaugh said on Monday that Bateman's knee injury isn't believed to be a long-term thing. So we'll see what happens after the bye. Um, I don't know. There's some reports coming out that it is pretty bad. He might be on the IR. There's also some talk about Deontay Johnson just not really being that guy there either. So a lot to go on, especially now when they're getting close to their playoffs. We're gonna head over to Green Bay. Josh Jacobs hurt his calf. He was limited in practice this Tuesday. So something to monitor, especially since we're getting it closer to the playoffs, and might be your last hurrah. So something to take a look at. And then also Romeo Dubes, he's been dealing with a concussion, was limited in practice today. So it's a really short turnaround time. So if these are the guys that you're hoping and praying, I would definitely go for the waiver wire. Not so much Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to be okay, but I don't know. It's really tough either way you look at it because with a calf injury, it's not always the best. So moving on. Ooh, we're going to go over to Jacksonville Jaguars. Connery had a really long talk about this. Trevor Lawrence got hit kind of nastily um, this past game, and he was out with a concussion. Doug Peterson said that Monday uh, there's no decision has been made yet if Lawrence will play again this season. So it's pretty rough, man. This poor guy comes back and then he gets knocked the fuck out. Uh, anyway, speaking of other people getting knocked out, over at the Los Angeles Rams, we had quarterback Matthew Stafford. Stafford suffered a late ankle sprain in Sunday's Week 13 win over the Saints, but neither over the win, but neither his practice nor game status this week is expected to be affected. So that's good, especially when you're talking about ankle sprains. Um, I think it really depends on if it's a high ankle sprain versus a low ankle sprain. This seems like a low ankle sprain. So fire them up, especially if you're trying to attack this by apocalypse. Next, oh my gosh, T's and P's. New Orleans Saints tight end Taysom Hill um, is basically going to miss the remainder of the season because why? He tore his knee. So he's screwed. He's done. So fire up Alvin Kamara because he's back, baby. Next, we're gonna head over to the Eagles with Dallas Goddard. I'm sorry, I just saw this. Just eating cereal, bro. During during my thing, just eating cereal. It's nice. Gross. Nasty fucker. Anyways, Eagles tight end Dallas Goddard. Basically, he messed up his knee as well too. But the Eagles are optimistic that Goddard avoided a significant knee injury in Sunday's 24-19 win over the Ravens, based on his initial evaluation. So, would be cautious. It's gonna be rough though. Those waivers for tight ends are a little steep. So, I don't know. It's not like he was doing that great, anyways. Here's another big hitter. This is crazy. So San Francisco 49ers, I bet everyone was like super stoked that they finally got Christian McCaffrey back. He's off IR. You're going to win your league. No, you're not. Because he's on the IR again with his knee. Like the dude gets his Achilles, just messed up his knee. So he's going to be on the IR. And then you're like, okay, whatever. Good thing I grabbed Jordan Mason because that's a backup and he's just looking great. He looked great in that game, right? Right? No, the 49ers are expected to place Mason on IR this week after suffering a high ankle sprain. Just what I was talking about with Matthew Stafford. High ankle sprain late this Sunday. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the 49ers are cooked. Maybe not cooked, but they're really hurting for running back. So, fire up Juwan Jennings, especially if some people were stupid enough to like drop his ass. Grab his ass now. I mean, don't really grab his ass, but you know what I mean. Heading over to their counterparts, the Seattle Seahawks, DK Metcalf. Metcalf missed 2 plays during Sunday's 26-21 win over those Jets, who suck anyways. Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. But he had to leave to get his knee examined by trainers. John Bull of the Seattle Seahawks official site report. He tweaked his knee. Coach Mike McDonald said of McCaffrey after the game, quote unquote, here's the quote. Then we did a bunch of tests and stuff, and I think he's doing right now. I don't know if Coach McDonald was drinking, but yeah, I don't get it from the doctor. Cool thing is that he did actually get examined, something to monitor. He is questionable. However, if he was really hurt, they would probably say he's on IR. So once again, everything's there to monitor. Wrapping it up, putting a bow on it with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got Baker Mayfield. Don't worry, guys. Don't get too nervous about this one. But basically, what happened, Coach Todd Bowles said that Mayfield is dealing with some soreness after being cleated in the back of his right leg during Sunday's game. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been cleated, that shit hurts. Like real bad. Okay. Anyways, overtime in the win over the Panthers. But the Buccaneers anticipate that quarterback being ready to play in this week's matchup versus the Raiders. Cool. Whew, cheese and peas. However, Bucky Irving, who just was a stud this week, is also kind of questionable this week because let's see here. He's suffering from a hip injury. So it's not his toe. He's been dealing with his toe throughout most of the season. This time it's a hip injury, which isn't good. But he actually got it during the kickoff return during Sunday's game, went over the Panthers. So obviously something to monitor. I think you're really going to see more things being like Wednesday. I'm anticipating it's going to be like limited participation or what have you, but by Friday, I think he'll be good to go. If it's something really serious, you would have known by now. So I got.
Thanks again, Doc, as always.
So I'm
Doc?
here.
Yeah, you want to go split screen or have a question for you?
Sure.
My brother's got this really bad case of the toe fungus. Really want to know how he can get rid of it. Do you know? Could you tell us?
What kind of like are we talking like gross, like pussy, or just like oh I got athlete's foot?
Nope, fungus on his toenail.
Time to stop dealing with hose. No, yeah, just stick in some Epsom salt, rub it down real good with a washcloth, bury in the backyard, and don't tell anyone where you buried it.
Thanks. Thank you, Doc. As always, we
You're
do
welcome. My grandma
appreciate
told me
you.
that one. My grandma
I
told me that one.
appreciate you. Yeah. Doc, we are going to get over to waivers. I know it's your favorite part of the show because you always hang back and watch us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, phony homies at home, it is time for waivers. We really do have to film that back. I'm a whole different guy, probably like 70 pounds lighter in those videos. It's crazy. All right, DL, I know you are excited to talk about waivers. I'm gonna go ahead and let you take over this first waiver.
Wow,
Very
really? You're
familiar.
gonna let me take over the first waiver after the doc just left and went through all the
Oh,
injury
what?
reports and read every single thing. You're gonna let me take the first one? Yeah, I think not, dude. It's all you, brother, dick.
I wish you could see your hair. You look disheveled, almost like I don't
Fucking
know. You're
dick.
switching places. Anyway, first guy. It's crazy because I can hear your voice, but I don't see you. It
I'm
sounds
sure
like a
they can hear me
disembodied
too.
voice. It's
That's some
great. Oh my
bushweed
god.
shit.
First, first guy we're going to recommend is none other than Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears. He is rostered in a shade under 50% of leagues. It might come as a surprise to you guys, given how bad the Bears have been, but Williams has been the top 5 fantasy QB in each of the last 2 weeks, averaging a total of 26 and a half fantasy points during that 2 week span. It's been elite production, to be honest, and he's been getting better and getting stronger as the season has gone on. He goes against a really solid 49ers defense. We know San Francisco D has the talent, but the group hasn't played to its standard as of late. Williams has put up 596 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 72 rushing yards against the Lions and Vikings. So those last 2 weeks, as we alluded to. Although this matchup is a little tougher, we do recommend streaming Caleb Williams. We think he's one of the best options available and probably a must start.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, he's a must start for sure. Did you need to get another bowl of soup or
That was great, man. My girl made a fresh
no
bowl of
one
soup and
cares?
she like
No
yelled at
one
me and
cares.
told me to come get it.
Russell Wilson, we're gonna go with number
Motherfucker.
second. Everyone can hear you. And he's rostered at 24%.
He's fucking
This
broke
would
right
be
now.
definitely like a streamlined guy
Uh-huh.
this week because he's going up against the Bengals. So he's gonna be make it. He's really gonna be the QB4 this week. Um, wait, was that last week making him fantasy? Sorry, my bad. Anyways, my bad. Wilson is averaging about 17 points per game, which puts him more on the high end of QB2. So he did uh especially in this week with a 6-team bye. Wow. I shit the bed on this one. He's going against the Browns. So last week he
Uh-huh.
played the Cincinnati Bengals, which he actually was QB4, which he got 26 points, basically, almost 27 fantasy points. He's going up against the Browns. Now, if you paid attention last week to the Browns, it was kind of a shootout, or I should say yesterday. So let's go. I mean, it's one QB against the other. I'm a little bit more excited, or I should say that me and JC are excited for Russell Wilson. I know that JC likes to ride or die with Wilson. He likes to just to ride him all the way. So that would be our next guy. JC, what do you think about Drake May?
You motherfucker. We're gonna go ahead and recommend Drake May as a streaming option. Roster just a shade under 10% in fantasy leagues. May's not a buy this week. I know. Why are we recommending him? Look, he happens to play in a two. If you happen to play in a two QB league, man, I'm just like you. I'm just fucking this up left and
Yeah,
right.
we didn't read ahead this time. We were
The
not
rookie
reading
would
ahead.
be well worth stashing. You wrote this one. He's averaged nearly 17 fantasy points per game, and he started and finished since becoming New England's QB1. So The guy is almost averaging 20 points per game. And honestly, all you could ask for from a streaming guy is to give you 15. The guy's giving you 17. He's been pretty damn solid and a solid QB too. After the bye, the Patriots visit, and this is why we're recommending him. They visit the Cardinals, who have been a middle of the pack defense.
Yes, they have. We're gonna go our next I would say waiver wire ad this week, which I'm really excited about because I freaking love this guy, Jameis Winston. He's rostered at 3%. Dude, this guy is just I did you see his presser where he's like, man, the Lord, I think, is gonna help me not to throw a pick six anymore. I was like, dude, I love
Bro, he keeps throwing pick sixes. It's crazy.
honestly though,
He
honestly,
would have had a great game, low key though.
this guy might help you to win your fantasy league. I'm dead ass serious. Dead ass. You want to know why? Because he just chucks the ball. Doesn't get look at Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy is having a hell of a great time right now. Oh, I'm supposed to be quiet. Why? You got Jerry Judy? Oh, sorry. My bad. Anyways, so he's 3% rostered. You know, he basically was throwing it all over the place on Monday night, 497 yards and 4 touchdowns. Not to mention he gave 2 pick six to the Broncos. So he was just
Jesus.
carrying them wealth. Actually it was 3 interceptions. I'll make that 7. Uh but okay, stop it. But at the end of the day, he still finished as fantasy QB1 in week 13 with 32.98 points against the Broncos. No one would have thought that, especially against the
Nope.
Broncos. So he is going up against the Steelers this week. So I'm not really too excited about that because they're pretty stingy when it comes to fantasy quarterbacks. And held Winston to 13 points in a snowy week 12 game. And wow, this might be a revenge game for George Pickens because he just called him trash. So maybe they use that and they like fight it out. Anyways, but I mean, sometimes if you're in the playoff, man, you gotta risk it to get the
To get
business.
the biscuit.
Exactly. Or no risk it, no biscuit mantra. So either way, I feel like this is the guy. Like if you are trying, like if you need a big boom, this is your guy. Over the last 5 games, here's a little, it's not in the notes. Well, over the last 5 games, this gentleman is averaging about 300 fucking yards. Last 5 weeks per game, 300 yards, right? That's with interceptions. So I feel like even if he does get picked, he can overcome that. I feel like he's kind of on a roll right now, and I think he's going to get a couple more wide receivers actually involved as well too. But we'll get there when we get there. We're going to head over to the land of running backs. Some of these I'm
Right.
too excited for.
We're going to go ahead and recommend two different running backs. The first is Gus Edwards, and along with that is Kamani Vidal. Gus Edwards is rostered in just a little over 50% of leagues, but we wanted to mention him because he kind of comes as a combo with Kamani Vidal, who's rostered in less than 5% of leagues. With Dobbins now on IR, the two running backs are handling the bulk of the workload for the Chargers. The Gus bus is continuing to be kind of like a turtle and just
Don't
be,
like the Gus bus.
kind of just, I don't know, been unremarkable, I guess. He leads the team with 15 carries in the past 2 games, but he's turned them into just 43 yards, which is just a little bit under 3 yards per carry. The volume means he should be on your radar, but it's really difficult to start and or roster a guy who's averaging a little under 5 points per game since he returned from injury. At the same time, he does get goal line carries, so he absolutely is a touchdown dependent running back. The Doll is the more explosive player right now, but he's going to need definitely more than the 4 touches that he's averaging the last few weeks. The Week 14 matchup is against the Chiefs, who is a very stingy defense to fantasy running backs this season. I don't know if I would start either of these guys, but pick them up, see how it shakes out, and maybe you get a running back out of this.
Yeah, I mean, over the two, Gus Edwards has just been very frustrating, right? Like, and this isn't our first time talking about Gus Edwards. I feel like we talk about him every year, and I feel like we're kind of like in the same boat. We're just like, I mean, okay. He may have that one game where he's like, oh my gosh, that's great. I call him Vidal Sassoon for Vidal. I like him a little bit better, but like we really haven't seen it. I feel like Vidal is like that one guy that you can a sneaky stash. And I know we talked about like no more sneaky stashes, like you just gotta win it or not. But I feel like he's definitely one of those guys that I feel like is going to have a little bit more upside. I feel like he's going to start getting the rhythm of it. I think he's going to overtake Gus Edwards. So out of the two, I kind of like Vidal a little bit more. That's just my take. Didn't tell JC before this. Next, we're heading over to Los Angeles with Lake Corum. He's 18% rostered. After getting only one touch in week 12, the rookie had the best game in the NFL career so far after rushing 42 yards on 8 carries, 5.3 yards if you weren't paying attention against the Saints. So I feel like Sean McVay will keep working Karam into the rotation more to kind of keep,
Kyron.
I said it, Kyron. The hell, dude?
Ron. Go ahead.
Anyways, basically to keep Kyron Williams fresh into the season. So they're just trying to like keep him fresh for the playoffs.
Next, I'm going to go ahead and recommend is Isaac Garendo. He's rostered crazy, less than 2% of fantasy leagues, which is insane because there was a few times this season where I picked him up. I think I recommended him in one of these articles. So here he is again. And
Which
why, you ask?
article? Where was it
Some of
published?
our different pieces.
We
I do
write
actually have
articles?
published articles. I actually won an Emmy before, by the way. But we'll get into
We
that for a
give
different time.
Emmys for articles?
No, I won an Emmy for a newscast that I was a part of. Anyway, with the unfortunate news that Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason come, what?
I said, for
Okay.
your Emmy
With the
of a
unfortunate,
newscast that you were nominated for.
yeah, we covered a tornado that happened in Southern Illinois during college, and we won. Anyway, with the unfortunate injury news
Emmy.
about Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason comes another great opportunity for Kyle Shanahan's offense and the rookie Isaac Garendo. He's no stranger to the space. The rookie had San Francisco's lone touchdown on Sunday night on a 15-yard run and scored 19.2 fantasy points in week 8. So he's done it before this season. He's shown you that he could do it. He could carry the bulk of the load. This week, the Bay Area backs next game is against who, Dio? The
The
Bears.
Bears.
He's gonna
Who
destroy
honestly
us.
are getting
Let's be real.
fucking trucked. They're getting trucked,
Mhm.
bro. Like they are not stopping the run. Remember the days when it was like, oh, you better not fucking try to run on the Bears. Remember that? I remember saying that out loud to a couple of people. Not anymore. So yeah, I think they're gonna run up and down the Bears because, well, I don't know, because usually when they get an interim coach, that like first week, everyone like balls out. You're
Plays
like,
hard. Yeah,
let's
you're right. You're right.
go, they got this, and then it's slowly. Anyways, so
That's a good read. That's a good read.
yeah, I think
analysis.
I really like this kid. I think this would be a solid pickup for sure. The next guy I'm really excited for to say his name because it's Sincere McCormick. You don't need to type it. I've already practiced. The Raiders have been looking for anyone to spark their running game, and it sounds like Coach Antonio Pierce wants to see more of McCormick. He played 38% of the snaps against the Chiefs. 38%. That's pretty good, man. Leading the team to 12 carries for 64 yards. He also had a couple of catches. PPR. Hello. After the game, Pierce praised McCormick, telling reporters the back is earning more reps. Ooh, tell me more. The majority of the RB snaps went to Amir Abdullah in week 13. Alex Madison and Zamir White will be back in the mix when they're healthy, which could mean a vast reduction in play time for the former practice squad member. But don't be surprised if Pierce rides the hot hand in a deep league. McCormick is worth a flyer. So deep league formats. I mean, 14-man league might be really good for it. And you know what's funny is that the first time I ever won a fantasy like title was I grabbed somebody for the Saints that like Hightower. What the fuck was his first name?
Tim Hightower.
Who?
Hightower. Tim Hightower. Who the hell was that?
Tim Hightower. I think it was. He was a running back. out of, like, just random running back, like, because one of their guys got hurt, and I was like, "I'm
Cam
gonna pick
Hightower.
him up,"
Right.
and I fucking won my league because he went off. He got me, like, 30 goddamn points. It was awesome. That's what makes fantasy fun. This stuff right here, like, with Sincere McCormick, he may, like, just, oh my god, be the guy. Or, like, even, what's his name? Running back for the Giants. Why am I forgetting his name? Tyler Taylor?
The current running back
Anyways,
for the
we're
Giants.
gonna move on to wide receivers.
This guy doesn't even let me answer. Going on to wide receivers, since I hope you sincerely let me move on to the wide receivers. The first guy we're going
Sure.
to go ahead and recommend is Adam Thielen, rostered in
Lawrence Salem.
13. What? The guy's name was Sincere. I had to, throw it to the Sincere. Adam Thielen's rostered in less than 15% of fantasy leagues. We got him in at 14. So, Bryce Young's improved play, which, by the way, is a story in itself. We should definitely talk about Bryce Young's improved play, is lifting the fantasy outlook for all the Panthers' top pass catchers. Thielen, who's also featured in this space, a week ago, we talked about him, seems like his stock to buy is right now. In his second game back from injury, he led the Carolina Panthers with 10 targets, turning them into 8 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. So, guy had 24 fantasy points, basically, if my math's correct. He was Week 13's fantasy wide receiver 6. And this week, he goes up against the Eagles, who just did a really good job of holding Lamar Jackson to a mediocre performance. But if you're feeling desperate at wide receiver, Adam Thielen is a great flex option. Also, Xavier Legette, keep him in mind. He's been not too shabby. He's been solid as of late, too.
Yeah, I like both these guys a lot. One thing that I really liked about Adam Thielen is like he literally came back and like all of a sudden he got like 10 targets, like out of nowhere. And
Yep.
you're right, like we should be talking about Bryce Young, right? Like we should. I mean, he's
He's
starting
been
to like
solid.
sling the ball. He's starting to look good. Um, my only concern is that what they're playing Kansas City this week,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm a little bit nervous about that. And really, it's kind of a toss up. But yeah, I would definitely go more on Thielen. I feel like Bryce Young, that's his like go to guy since they've been kind of working on it. So
Mm-hmm.
this is definitely a
Eagles. They
what?
play the Eagles.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Eagles. Shit.
Yeah. It's a good
Oh,
game, though.
they're
It's going to be.
cooked.
I'm going to.
Never mind. Don't grab this
Yeah.
guy. You're fucked.
Nah.
I'm just kidding. Anyways, no, but what I'm saying to this is that like honestly, like I feel like Bryce Young and Adam Thielen do have that connection, and like that
No.
seems like that's his obviously his first read.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Xavier Legette as well too. Like he's really coming on.
Same.
I have him. I'm
Mm,
thinking about starting him this week, but we'll see what happens after waivers and see what
Me
happens.
too.
See
Me
what
too.
happens. See what happens. See what happens. We're gonna go ahead and hop over to the Saints with Marvis Valdez Scantley or
Marquez.
MVS.
Yep. That's
So
right.
I call him MVS because that's
That's
bullshit.
right.
He's only rostered at 10%. So I keep wanting for this week where MVS disappears, but he's not. He's still there. He's a third. He's had his third consecutive game with double-digit points. He's
Mhm.
averaging about 18 points during his hot streak, despite being targeted just 10 times. So, flashback, if you this is your first time watching us, one of the things I've always talked about is look at targets. If it's 8 or more, that's definitely a
Yeah.
guy that you want. Definitely a
A
guy you
damn
can
near
flex,
must roster. Yeah. 100%.
honestly. So,
Opportunity.
anyways,
Opportunity. Yeah.
in the last 3 games, MVS was on the receiving end of Derek Carr's lone touchdown pass in week 13. Hmm. Giving him 4 TDs in his last 3 contests. The bottom could drop out at any minute, but if you don't mind living dangerously, take a chance with the Saints because they're playing the Giants, who are vulnerable.
Mhm.
So this would be a really good flyer. I feel like a flex option, right? Like I don't think
Yeah.
he's going to be
I agree.
like wide receiver 2 or like wide receiver 1, but like I mean, shoot, he was the only one who got a touchdown last week from Derek
Yeah.
Carr. So,
True.
and he's going up a pretty soft defense with the Giants. Like they're not really that great, especially your secondary. But we're gonna go ahead and head over to Dallas. What do you want to tell us about
Ugh.
Brandon Cooks?
I don't like this one.
Really?
I kind of want to skip
You're
it.
ugh,
Yeah.
you're
I'm not a fan of this one. Brandon Cooks. If you're in a really deep league,
really.
the guy's rostered in 5% or less of leagues. He's he had 3 catches last week. He
I
did
mean,
score a
but he
touchdown.
just came back from IR, bro. He just came
Yeah,
back
man. But
it's not like he's been like playing like, yeah, he only got 3. It's like he got back from IR, dude. I honestly, maybe this is where we differ. I feel like he's gonna be good, man. Like, and it's probably gonna feed or
It's,
free up CD a little bit more as well too.
so
So I see him more of as a wide receiver
Cooper throws the
3 because
ball.
CD is a 2.
Doesn't Yeah, Cooper doesn't really look. Okay, there's a
Don't you
guy to
talk about
have
Cooper
there.
like that.
Yeah, there's a guy to have there. Obviously, it's CD. I think the next guy to have, surprisingly, is whoever the tight end is. Whoever the tight end that's playing. Cooper Rush uses the tight end a lot. After that, it's just going to be a dice roll for
Yeah, like
the third
Turd
receiver.
Ferguson would be a great guy to add this week if he's
Yeah, or
healthy.
Schoonmaker was decent for a week, and then he didn't do anything last week. So, I don't know.
Wow.
Let me go ahead and give you the next
You
guy. I'm
bitter?
very, very excited. No, not at
I
all.
like this
I'm
guy
very
too.
excited. Yeah, Nick Westbrook Akine. He's
Mm.
rostered. Now he's not definitely not rostered in wherever our number heads. He's probably
Nope.
rostered in 25% of leagues or something to that effect. He's definitely gone up. So congrats to those of you who picked up Westbrook Akine. And we talked about him last week. We really,
You sent me a text
dude,
too
dude, look,
because he
he
scored.
delivered, yeah, on not one, but two touchdowns against the Commanders on his way to a season high 21.1 fantasy points. This guy does one thing and one thing very well. He fucking scores. The guy puts the ball in the end zone.
Mm.
Despite averaging just
He
2.5 catches
does.
per game over the last few weeks, he's averaging 15.1 fantasy points per game in his last 5 contests. That's good for 17.9 fantasy in his last 3. He's extremely touchdown dependent, but the production has been there. Look, if you just want to get a guy who could help you win a week, it could give you
A
15 plus
jag.
points. Yeah, Westbrook Akina is definitely a guy we're going to recommend. He just keeps scoring. Ride the
Dude,
hot
I
hand.
like it.
He is hot. He's hot.
I like it. You know why? Because his quarterback just throws it up too, which is
Yep.
really kind of sad to me too. Because like Calvin Ridley, man, I was like, man, Calvin Ridley. Okay, Hopkins is gone. Here you go, bro. And it's just not happening. I don't get it. But I digress. We're gonna head over to tight ends. We're gonna talk about Pat Fryermuth. Now he's rostered at 53%, so he probably may not be out there, but if he is, make sure you grab him. Like a lot of fantasy tight ends, Muth is TD
Yeah.
dependent, aren't we all? I know the production hasn't been overwhelming even when he does score a TD, and he's averaging about 8 points this season per game. Well, but hey, it's tight end
Would
West
you
End.
We did overlook something. I'm sorry. I don't know if I included it there. Keep an eye on Elijah Moore. And also, I don't think he's available
Oh
with
shoot,
Judy. If
yeah,
he's available in your leagues, go get Jerry Judy. He just had a 200 plus yard game. If he's available, go get him. Elijah Moore, keep an eye on him because Cedric Tillman got hurt. He got a concussion this past week. So if for any reason Cedric Tillman is out, Judy elevates to the number one. Elijah Moore plays opposite, and Jameis is throwing the ball 40 plus times a game. So these guys are going to eat.
bro. We even said that. Like, I'm glad you brought that up. But we even said
Yeah.
that. Like, I think it was last week. We're like, all right, here, like the 3 Browns, we had all 3 of them up there. Like, grab one of these guys,
Yeah, man.
and we
Yeah.
had them in order. I think we had Judy first, and then we had Tillman, and then we have
Let me ask you a
Elijah
question.
Moore.
I'm in
Sure.
a must-win game next week to make it to the
Okay.
playoffs in like 2 leagues, at least 2 leagues, and um, I have CeeDee Lamb in both. Would
Mm.
you? And I have Elijah Moore in both. If Tillman
Ooh,
is out, would you start Elijah Moore over CeeDee Lamb? I can't believe I'm asking you that, but that's a fucking honest question.
dude, I don't think I could pull that trigger. I honestly, I don't think I could.
The
Even with
Cowboys play
like,
the Bengals. Cowboys play the Bengals. I just want to throw that out there. Okay, and the
see, I
Browns
don't know.
play against the Steelers.
I'm high on Brandon Cooks because I feel like Brandon Cooks is going to get some looks, which will free up CD. However, CD's still kind of he's injured, dude. He's kind of dealing with something as well too. Man, that is a great
One tweak and he's out for the
question.
game. It's like one of those kind of things.
And the Bengals like secondary sucks too. Like they're not
Fuck.
good. Their defense is trash. It's not
Mhm.
good. They're really not. Just gonna be honest.
Well, the
But
Steelers
man, that's
defense
a
is
tall
solid.
order though, bro. I don't know.
But they're
That's a
going
good.
to do everything. Look, the Browns play against the Steelers. The Steelers are going to do everything in their power to try to limit Jerry Judy. After the game he just
Fuck it.
had,
Yeah, do it. Because like
how crazy am I?
dude,
Am
if
I
you
crazy?
think about it, let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. This is what like made me say fuck it because Jameis Winston is like playing out of his mind and he's just chucking the ball. He gives zero fucks if he
No
gets
fucks,
picked
bro.
or not. He's just throwing that shit. Versus Cooper Rush, who definitely is making CD Lamb's stock just pew, just like, I mean, maybe CD Lamb has like a wide receiver too, kind of like stock game, but I don't see it this week. No way. So yeah, pull that trigger and
Done.
fuck
I
it,
just did
dude.
it. Done.
Fuck it, dude. You're on your last stand. This is
This is
it.
it.
Like fuck it. You got to go with your gut, bro. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. Tell me how that worked out. Anyways,
I
getting
will.
back to Pride Fire Muth, which you probably won't find, but anyways, if you do, he's averaging about a touchdown a game. So he's obviously the Steelers tight end one. For the couple of weeks, he's averaging about 14.3 points in a small sample size. So if you have one of those top fantasy tight ends in the game, you can pass. If you need this guy at a position, like let's say, you had a Andrews who's out this week. This might be a guy, or Zach Ertz. Maybe you're in that boat. Like, oh shit, don't have Zach Ertz. This would be a really good like plug and play.
Plug and play.
Uh,
Yeah.
Once again, Pat Fryer Muth, the Muth is Luth,
The
and
move
yeah,
is
I
loose.
feel like this is definitely a good game to do it. Once again, they're playing the Browns, so kind of like what we're talking about. What do you feel about Jawan Johnson? Wow, that's a name we haven't heard all year,
A
but
name we
hey,
haven't seen in a while. That's our boy from last year. So Juwan Johnson. Now, unfortunately, the reason why we're going to recommend Juwan Johnson, who's rostered in less than 5% of leagues, is because Taysom Hill suffered a season-ending knee injury. I believe he tore his ACL. If the doc, I was listening to the doc, I believe that's what he said. Uh, Juwan Johnson. So he was targeted a season high 7 times on Sunday, making 5 catches for 36 yards. He's reached double-digit fantasy points twice this season, but only in games when he scored a touchdown. This week, the Saints go against the Giants. Surprisingly, they've been tough on tight ends, but being that he's going to be the only, like the number one, the true number one, with no Taysom Hill to take any targets away, we highly, highly recommend Jawan Johnson. I got him just outside my top 10 tight ends this week in fantasy, and depending on opportunity, that could change. He could be in my top 10 by next week when we read this column. DL, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this over to you. We're gonna go ahead and jump over to defenses.
defenses, which I absolutely love. If we're going to start things off with the 52% rostered Philadelphia Eagles, once again, they're out there, grab them. Why are you asking? Pretty much because, yeah, Philly did an excellent job against the Ravens. But this week in week 14, they're going against the Carolina Panthers, who are like dog shit. So this would be definitely a time to fire them up. That's why both of us were like, Xavier, Adam Thielen. Okay, grab one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, oh fuck, they're playing against a Philly defense. So obviously, if Philly's there, grab them. The next defense I would say is the Arizona Cardinals. Do you want to touch on this? Just because they're
Yeah,
only
I'll go ahead.
rostered at 19%. So
Mm-hmm.
we have another, but I feel like this is more of like definitely someone you can grab because you got to think of long term. Because they're going against manageable man this week. They're going against the Seahawks and then the Patriots and then the Panthers. So that dog shit team could
Mm-hmm.
help you win that Super Bowl. Do
Hey,
you want
look,
to?
it's really easy. They're averaging 11, almost 11 fantasy points per game in the last 4 games.
Which is
So they've had
crazy.
19 sacks in the last 4 games.
It's
That's,
crazy
I mean,
because
they,
Arizona, I was like, what?
they're
Who?
yeah, they're
And the
kind of mid.
crazy thing is, here's another thing that like I think is nuts is they're only rostered 19%, which I get that, but
Mm-hmm.
like they're available. So if you see them, grab them,
Yeah.
especially for the long haul. Kind of like we talked about Tampa Bay. Here's another defense, especially
Mm-hmm.
towards the end, that you want to have in your roster. You want to wrap us
Mm-hmm.
up with the Saints?
I'll go ahead and touch on the Saints. The Saints are rostered in just a shade under 20%. They honestly haven't done much as of late, but if you're streaming for just this week, they play against the Giants. We've talked about it a few times how
This
the
week
Saints
is
are
their
playing against the
streamer. Yep.
Giants. Yeah, and Tommy DeVito probably won't play. Not that that matters too much, but if it's Drew Lock or if it's DeVito, they're these are definitely quarterbacks they could pick a few times and sack a few times. Locke was sacked he was sacked 6 times against the Cowboys, and DeVito was brought down 4 the week before that. So definitely a defense could get some sacks, get a few picks, and turn the ball over. I would recommend the Saints if they're available this week.
Yeah, I feel like out of both of them, right? Like I think the Arizona Cardinals are probably your long shot, right? They're more of
Mhm.
your long game. But short game, I would go with the Saints. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Anyways, you want to go ahead and put a boat on?
Yeah, that's it for today's episode. Phony homies, remember to shoot your start sit questions. As always, DL, if they want to send those over, where can they send them on Twitter or on X?
Well, you can follow us at Tweet FFG, but if you have those questions, you can use the
Mhm,
hashtag AskUsFFG.
Pretty simple, pretty easy. And if they want to send us emails, DL, what is the email address to send them?
AskUsFFG at gmail.com.
Pretty easy. And DL, finally, if people want to give me a call directly, where can I do that?
Really simple, really easy. Make sure that you call them all hours of the night, especially at 3 in the morning at 708 655 4508. I'm starting to memorize it. Got the area code down.
It's happening? Okay. Oh,
Little bit.
this
Little
guy.
bit.
This guy. Anyway, thanks for tuning in again, Tony Homies. For DL, I'm JC. Thanks again. We'll catch you guys on another fantastic episode of the Fake Football Guys show. Like, share, subscribe, and
Smash!
the notification button.